Hey everybody, welcome back to We Are Podcast. This is Camp Slash Horrorcast, Season 1, Episode 18, Candyman. If this is your first time checking out the podcast channel, please head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or iTunes, and give We Are Podcast a like. And if you get a chance, head over to our social media. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /We Are Podcast. And don't forget to join our Discord. All links can be found in the description. And as Camp Slash Horrorcast is live, I will not be editing the audio for this podcast. So what you saw on the Horrorcast, you will be hearing here. And don't forget to join us every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time at twitch.tv/We Are Podcast Network. With that said, on to the Horrorcast.
Camp Slash Horrorcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Camp Slash Horrorcast, where we talk horror movies from the past every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time here on Twitch. I am your head camp counselor, Duck. I'm here with other head camp counselors. We got Dead J Liv.
I gotta change up my name for this.
All right, it's Jay McClintock. Jay, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing excellent. Thank you for joining the cast. This is your birthday pick, so thank you very much. Happy belated birthday, as it was in January. We also have Austin with us. Austin McDonald. Austin, how are you doing today, sir?
And I'm golden.
Fucking right on, because of the honeybees, baby. That's why. The honey, that's right. And then we got Jacob Pinkston with us, Jacoba Fett, if you will. Jacob, how you doing today, sir?
I'm just capital. Thank you for asking.
Is capital good?
Yeah.
All right, good then. Yes, fuck yeah. And then we got David Jessup with us. David, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good.
Ooh.
Excellent. And then finally we got Reverend Dr. Ethan Eastwood. The Reverend, the Doctor, the Esquire, the everything. How are you doing, Ethan?
I'm doing pretty good. And oh shit. Hang on one second.
Oh boy.
I'm doing great. Shit! Fuck!
He forgot.
Oh no. Oh shit, here it comes. Oh no.
Cast in a row that Will has shit on, they live. So Will is not here, but he
We
does
are
have
up to 3 casts in a row so far that Will has shit on They Live. So
we're gonna
that's going to be
the
a
guy
nice
for that
triple zero by the end of this.
keep a tally. What'd you say, Jake?
It's like the guy from the sports show now. Woody, what's his face? From Part of the Interruption or Around the Horn or some shit.
He's keeping a tally.
Skip Bayless.
You know what I'm talking about, though. The guy who always had the little chalkboard in the background. He'd write little... And whatever.
Well,
Oh, Woody. I think his name was Woody.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, Woody Page.
Yeah, Woody Page.
We got bumped up to 4.
Oh no, are you kidding me? Did he shit on it through the chat?
He's in the chat.
Oh,
Good for him.
god damn, there it is. Well, guys, we're here to
him.
talk about the Candyman. Dun, 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 dun. I've had that song stuck in my head all fucking day from Willy Wonka. So, yes, Candyman. Jay, what is your history with this movie?
Actually, this time I want to go last because it's deep. It's deep.
All right.
Hold on then. All right, Austin, how about you? Have you seen the Candyman before, or is
This was my first time. As with most of the movies we have, this is my first time.
Well, all right. We'll get into what you thought about it later on then. Myself also, this is my first time watching it. When I was younger, my brother used to watch it quite a bit, and I remember seeing it and thinking it was one of the most terrifying things I'd ever seen, especially when he levitates down above her. That scared the shit out of me. So all I saw was him levitating. I saw a hooked hand, and I said, fuck that. I am out. I am not watching this. This is way too scary. So I never watched it until yesterday, and it was brutal. This movie is absolutely brutal and terrifying, and we'll get into that even more. Jake, how about you? What's your history with the Candyman?
Same routine as usual. I had cable growing up. One of those ones I'd switch back and forth whenever the scary shit started happening, but eventually always switch back to it to see the scary shit. But it's like my 4th time watching it. It's good. I like it. Solid.
Yeah, it's definitely. I can see
more
why.
into it. I got a few things I can gripe about, but on the whole, it's good.
But for a movie made in 1992, I think it holds up. So definitely intrigued to see what you guys have to say.
Yeah.
David, how about you? You said you saw it in theaters. You were all drugged up. Is that right?
Yeah, I was in a grunge band in the '90s in Florida, which sucked because you had to wear flannel in Florida. And so I did a lot of drugs, like a lot of hallucinogenics back then, LSD, acid, mushrooms, constantly. And I remember seeing this movie. I remembered nothing about it. And rewatching it last night, I was like, why wasn't this in my wheelhouse? Because it's a great movie, man. It's a great horror movie. And yeah, it was really neat watching it because I really felt like the first time last night. But I absolutely loved it, man.
That's freaking awesome. Yeah, like I said, I definitely feel like it holds up and it is terrifying. Ethan, it's your first time seeing it today, correct?
Yeah, first time. Well, I thought this was my first time dealing with the Candyman until you enlightened me earlier that he made an appearance in the 1971 classic with Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where he sang his hit song. But no, yes, this is my first time seeing the movie. This wasn't very scary. It was more suspenseful. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was anxious for the character, but at no point was I really scared or terrified at any point. It was more just kind of on the edge was the best way to describe that. But it was solid. It was good.
It definitely holds up. All right, Jay, what's your history with it?
Well, I'm gonna preface this with a life experience that I had gone through about
the Candyman.
Well, we'll get to that, but that's definitely true. But no, as far as experiences. I may have told a couple of you guys this at work, but when I was 6 years old, I went to the Dallas Zoo with my kindergarten class, and I was a little bit of a shit, and I got put with the bad kids so far the day. Like, how bad can you be at 6 years old? But I was kind of like basically at zoo detention most of the day, and then at the very end of the day. At the Dallas Zoo, they have this giant map of the entire zoo with a lot of illustrations, and I thought it was really cool, and I convinced my teacher that I wanted to let me see it because obviously I didn't get to do anything cool the whole day, and I felt like I made my repentance, and she was like, "All right, that's fine," and so I'm right there looking at it, and I was really enjoying it, and then I turned around and my entire class was gone.
Wait, what? Gone.
I was left at the zoo at 6 years old by my class.
Holy shit, dude.
The teacher did that shit on purpose.
She wanted to get rid of your ass.
Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how badly I was screaming. Like there was tears down my face. And it was just literally, it was the most terrified I'd ever been in my life. A random man grabbed me and put me on his shoulders, and it hypnotized me. Like it immediately quieted me down, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And this random stranger who I couldn't tell you what he looked like or anything, put me down in front of the head office of the zoo, and they took me in, and then they called my parents and they called the school, and I was okay. And when I was okay, it felt like a really cool story to tell my friends. And then it didn't really scar me or anything like that. But 6 years later, horror movies were not that good around this time. I'd say 91 and 92 wasn't a really good year for movies. There were some pretty shitty sequels. Hellraiser 3, Freddy's Dead, Sleepwalkers. There wasn't a lot of good horror movies, and I was at
Silence of the Lambs.
That's good, but a lot of people would consider that, kind of a suspense, action thriller more than a pure horror movie. And I was at teen camp, and I was like talking to some buddies, and like we do, we talk to each other about scary movies that we like. And this one kid, I'll never forget him, his name was Ryan Higgins, goes, "Well, you should check out Candyman." And I was like, well, okay, I'll check it out. And then as I'm watching it, I'm kind of, and then they get to that scene where they talk about the little boy who goes into the bathroom and gets castrated, and immediately, like, I had like a major league flashback to what my life could have been
Wow.
6 years earlier if things had just gone a little bit differently. And it kind of gave me like some chills about like how scary it is sometimes to be left alone at a young age. And then from there, just the rest of the movie also just really hooked me. So that's just my initial
Really
experience from
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Ah,
For sure.
Dude.
Absolutely. And then we could talk about the rest of the movie, obviously, but that's
go.
where the movie, like for me, as far as the batteries dropping, when Jake, the little boy Jake, is telling Helen about the story, and you get it played in the background from you.
Yeah.
That's the thing about this movie, is that it's a story, and it feels like everybody in the movie is a phenomenal storyteller. From the very first scene, you get just amazingly written or amazingly told stories, and the whole movie's about stories.
Right.
And then we actually see one, kind of, being made in front of us as well. And to me, it felt, to use a term that's extremely borrowed, it made it feel very what you call meta.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. And it's probably the first movie I'd ever heard that even used the term urban legend, as a 12-year-old. I mean, it was kind of a new idea, and to add to all this, and this may not seem true.
He froze! No!
You got him! You got him!
No, I can't believe it. Like the suspense that he had built, he was being the storyteller, and it freaking froze. I can't believe it. Unbelievable.
I love that we can see his hook.
There you are. You are back. All right, dude. You don't even know how suspenseful that was for the rest of us.
But
it's just like,
yeah, we were like, because we were on the edge of our seats because you had hypnotized us like the Candyman does, and we were just ready. All right,
there's a Zoom admin on here right now, doing great.
Right. But I was gonna say, I didn't grow up with Bloody Mary. Hold on, I'm gonna connect my computer so I don't get lost again. But yeah, I didn't grow up with Bloody Mary. So for me, Candyman was the original invocation spirit you do in a mirror. So Bloody Mary wasn't known to me, so I had no idea it was even borrowed from that.
Yeah,
I
knew Bloody Mary before I knew Candyman.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that, Jake. So when you were a kid, how old do you think you were when somebody introduced you to the idea of Bloody Mary?
Probably around the time that the movie came out. I was 10 years old. I didn't see it at movie theaters, so it didn't come out till at least 2 years after that on cable or anything. But yeah, you had to say her name 3 times instead of 5 times. Yeah. Do it in the bathroom with the lights out, and nothing ever happened anytime. So,
so how many times did you do this? How many times did you do
every chance I got?
How about the Candyman?
Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls.
I'm telling you, no, I never did the Bloody Mary. You could not even get me at the age of 36 to say Candyman in the mirror. I'm too superstitious. I know.
I thought we're supposed to go ghost hunting. Hey, dude, how are we gonna do that if you can say Candyman 5 times?
It's like the ultimate ghost to hunt, Duck.
We're gonna trick Javi into doing it. It's gonna be amazing. He'd probably do it. Like this. It's one of those weird things where he's probably not afraid of it at all. He's just like, it's not real. It's not real. But
did you guys afraid until he gets to the 5th Candyman?
Yeah, I know. And then he pops in. Did anyone else ever do
fucking
the bloody...
Ted Raimi?
No, dude. I'll say Ted Raimi in the fucking mirror 5 times because I want to meet Jockster. That sounds badass. Speaking of meeting the Candyman, who was it who held up the photo earlier? Was that you, David?
That was Jay.
That was me.
That was Jay. Jay, can we see that?
Yeah, sure.
Is that cool?
Yeah, it's absolutely cool. There it is, man.
There it is.
Yay, sweets to the sweet, man.
So freaking! Oh, he wrote it on there and everything.
No, he wrote pieces and he explained it to me. It's a cool story. I was working for the Improv at a Comic Con over in Richardson. I was working with puppets with David's good pal Darren Collins.
Oh yeah,
Darren. And we after a while you get to go walk the con, and I saw Tony Todd, and I was like, holy shit! I was like 28. And I was like, well, I gotta go say hi. And I just walked up to him and I said, hey man, you robbed me of a childhood. And he looked at me. And he said, how old were you when you saw it? That's all he said in his wonderful Tony Todd baritone voice. And he was reading a book by August Wilson. And August Wilson, in case you don't know, was a playwright who wrote a different play for every decade in the 20th century. He was a black playwright. He won a ton of awards. Denzel Washington was just in one of his movies called Fences. He's just an amazing. And we started talking about August Wilson, and another thing that this movie did is it really awakened a lot of things about me at the time as a kid. A lot of things I wasn't exposed to, being white, and it helped enlighten me and made me want to grow a lot of our studies. And so it was amazing talking to Tony Todd about this awesome playwright, and it was just a really cool moment. And then he signed the thing, and it was a really just amazing experience.
That's freaking awesome. Is he tall as shit too? He's 6'5". You're like 6'2", right? Aren't you?
No, I'm 5'10". I don't know what.
Oh, this is our classic argument because I'm not 5'10". I forgot about that.
No,
I was positive I was, and Jay's like, "There's no way you're 5'10".
He was towering, and he was kind of like a hush hush thing that he was going to be in this new movie that was coming out in a couple of months, and he was in Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen.
Was
he? He said, "I can't tell you who I am, but I'm going to make a lot of money." He was the Fallen. He was the Fallen. He was the main bad guy, and that was really, it was cool. Like Tony Todd let me in on a secret.
That's awesome, man.
Pretty amazing little story.
I think first. Oh, sorry, good, Jake.
No, you're good. Go on.
I was gonna say
Trust me, whatever you had to say is.
Well, I apologize. I was gonna say the first interaction, or not interaction. I never met him, but like seeing the Final Destination, that was the first time I ever saw Tony Todd. And I remember, so I'd never seen Candyman until now, but I can see why he looms so large within horror iconography. You know what I mean? He is an amazing villain. He's totally scary. It totally holds up.
Is he the villain?
Is he? That's a good question. I was going to get into that, but we can start talking about that now if we want. Jay, do you think he is the villain, or do you think you look like a Helen?
Yeah, he hits. Unless it's not obvious, guys, this movie is not, if not my favorite horror movie, it's one of my all time. I know more about this. I could go into some Larry Garza like rants about Candyman. Honestly, I mean, it's a movie that really, it almost looks like it intends to offend on a few different levels. For one thing, this movie came out 25 years before the Me Too movement really kind of took hold, and there's tons of underlying, themes throughout, both of that, of racial tension, of the white savior theory. It really, for an hour and 40-minute movie, it really has a lot of stuff under the surface, and we get to see that too, and we get to go on this journey, including obviously the biggest mystery that I think, in my personal opinion, we get the answer to as to whether or not it is Helen or if it is the Candyman doing these things later on in the movie. I personally look at Candyman as a spirit of vengeance, more so than an outright villain, more of a creation.
Ghost Rider.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah. He's very much in a much more terrifying way for me, but yeah, like very much a spirit of vengeance, because at first you think you create him or summon him by saying his name 5 times in the mirror, and even the movie puts that on its ear. That doesn't necessarily the one thing that just makes him happen. There's other ways to kind of conjure him up or piss him off, as Helen obviously does throughout. I
mean, he honestly, and does everyone, like the little boy, and I have to go back to that because that's the part that disturbed me the most about this movie, and that's when I said it was brutal, because when they tell this story, Jake tells the story, and it's kind of like, it's bad, but then when they do the pan over with the camera and they show the little boy holding himself, like, violence against children bothers me more than anything, and the fact that they showed that's when I was like, this movie's so fucking brutal, you know what I mean? But were they implying that he looked in the mirror and he said Candyman, or were they implying that Candyman has to keep his lore alive, and like you were saying, he doesn't always have to be summoned through that. He is a godlike figure of the Cabrini Green, the projects there. So my question is, was he summoned every time through the mirror? You're saying he was summoned otherwise, and I'm guessing you've probably seen the sequels and they go into that. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I like the second movie. I like the fact that it takes place in New Orleans. The third movie, very forgettable even to me. But as far as what happens to that little boy in particular, he was whatever happened to him. You know, it seems actually alluded that it was the quote unquote gang leader who was pretending to be Candyman, and that seemed pretty obvious. But even that in and of itself,
red herring.
Yeah, the red herring. But even that in and of itself, when Helen is using the gang leader to demystify the legend of the real Candyman, she feels like she's being that quote unquote, again, white savior, helping out the community. You know, look, I've debunked this. We've caught him. And, you know, you can all go back to, you know, leading whatever lives you lived, which weren't great. I mean, if you look at Cabrini Green, they hired real gang members to be in those scenes. They were.
Yeah, because the area that they filmed it is actual Cabrini Green. So that what you saw is the actual high-rise, you know, building that was there. And they, to appease the gang, they had to say, all right, you guys can be extras in the movie.
That's
and then,
awesome.
And eventually
Badass.
they went in, the director, the actors, everyone, they went in, they had to be escorted by police to go into the
Holy
area.
shit.
And
they legitimately got shot at
Yeah.
one night. I mean,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, that's if that's not real. I mean, that's some gonzo filmmaking right there.
But I think that's the thing is it comes across in the tension in the movie, because when they talk about going past the projects and how dangerous it is, you know what I mean? Like, you actually feel that, and that being an actual location, that being real, and that having actual gang members in there, I think that adds to the tension of the movie. Javi B joined us, by the way. What's up, Hobbs?
What's going on, guys? How's it going?
We're talking about the Candyman, baby. The Candyman So, Javi, what's your history with this movie, real quick? You saw this?
I saw it when I was like 8 or 9 years old. I was a child.
God, what is with y'all and seeing these horrible movies when you're really stupid young?
First of all,
Explains
Ethan,
so
I need you to do me a favor. I need you to ask yourself that question in a mirror. Why haven't you seen those movies when you were that young? I think you're the weird one in this scenario.
I was
he has
busy
loving
watching like
parents.
fucking Jimmy Neutron and shit and playing
So was I,
Sonic
baby.
Adventure 2
I was watching
with that
Candyman and Rugrats all on the same day. That's called the
Same.
duality, baby.
Totally
face.
same.
Reptar, your Candyman, and call it a day.
And the Wild Thorn Bears in the same weekend, baby. That's how I used to run as a kid.
Like a David and the Gnomes and The Shining.
Yeah.
Like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And then Candyman, like went from
Right.
PG-13 to
Real
quick.
fucking scary.
So, Javi, you saw this movie. How did it affect you as a child?
It really didn't affect me.
Nothing?
Nothing.
I called it. All right. Have you ever said Candyman in the mirror?
Yes.
And what happened?
5 times though.
I did 3 times. I was scared to go. For
I did
the fifth time.
3. I did 3. I didn't do 5.
I
couldn't.
applied Bloody Mary rules to the Candyman rules.
Still
That's
got
what I
that
said,
deep
Bloody
voice. Do
Mary.
you hear that, Jake?
He's got his
Tony Todd voice going on. Something going on with Javi's microphone. We don't know what it is, but it makes his voice like 3 octaves lower.
It makes me sound super sexy, bro.
Yeah, there you go.
I think he's been doing whippets before every time he's online.
What is your obsession with me doing whippets, bro?
What is your obsession with doing whippets?
Fucking whip, it's just on it, bro.
So, Jay, you were saying that the character. Wow, what were you saying?
That
I
makes me
apologize.
nauseous.
You were saying that the area that they filmed it, you know, that was real. You were saying that the character itself, the spirit of vengeance, like you said before. What did you mean by that?
Well, okay, you know, if for anyone who's never seen the movie before watching, you know, basically the story of Candyman, I'll go ahead and say it. He was the you know, the son of a slave who found a way to mass produce shoes, and it actually made him wealthy. And Candyman himself was a very, you know, Daniel Robitaille, that's his real name. He was a very accomplished artist. And one night, a very rich landowner, you know, had him, you know, do a portrait of his daughter. And as is usually the case, they fall madly in love. And literally, of course, that just couldn't happen. He was set upon by a lynch mob who proceeded to cover his entire body in honey so he'd get stung by bees. And yeah, he died. And
they cut off his hand and they replaced it with a hook before
that is actually, I do not know how he got the hook. That's probably the one biggest plot hole in all of Candyman that I guess I just have to leave up to suspense, because I really don't
Put
know.
it on himself.
Yeah. It's like I don't know why he picked the hook or
That's
whatnot.
why it's dripping in blood still.
Cool.
Yeah,
Ew.
like I don't know what his motivation was for that. It's like the one thing where I just suspend disbelief. But even the term "sweets to the sweet," that's a direct line from Hamlet.
Mhm.
And the sweets to the sweet were the funeral gifts that were given to Ophelia in the play. So it definitely has something to do with funerals and whatnot. As towards the end of the movie during the bonfire, you see all the things they give to the fire. That was their sweets to the sweet. That was not on accident. That was very much intentional. The director of this movie, Bernard Rose, a British guy. I don't think an American director probably could have given this movie that much justice. And I think as well, one of the reasons it was a British guy is because the original story took place in Liverpool. That was the original. It was originally a short story called The Forbidden, and it was definitely he definitely used it was a loose interpretation, but the imagery was all there. But he, one of the things that Clive Barker was actually on the set, on the movie as a consultant. And so he, they decided to go with America, and not only that, but like urban America. And another thing I love about this movie is it's not funny. A lot of horror movies,
No, not at all.
A lot of horror movies kind of depend on a little bit of humor. Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween. All these movies have a little bit of a tension breaker. This movie has no tension breaker whatsoever, and I think that's one of the reasons I find it so effective.
To be fair, when Ted Raimi showed up, I laughed. Because
Ted Raimi. That's what Ted Raimi, but he's in and out in the first 5 minutes.
Right.
Like it's done. And not only that, let's talk about the score.
Yes, the music to this movie is
fucking great, man.
Yeah, it's
the opening credits score is fucking amazing. And the credits, I hate long credits, but it was okay because I liked the fucking soundtrack. It felt like it was building towards something. And then just throughout.
It added to the tension, like something about those kind of clashing chords that really just helps add to the scenes where they throw that soundtrack in. Clashing chords are always, just for me at least, it helps build up suspense. Music is a powerful tool, and they use the fuck out of it in this movie. It was silent for a reason. It was clashing and tense for a reason. It was perfect.
Yeah. I don't want to skip ahead, but like the very end of the movie, the soundtrack, it felt like the whole story they had been telling the whole time was being told in the music at the very end. And I thought it was really just like, that was one of my favorite parts of the movie, was just the end. Was it really, that's when I could not look away, was the end of the movie.
Yeah, and Philip Glass, the guy who composed the movie, wasn't particularly happy with his soundtrack. But he said now that he, over time, has become a fan of it, especially because they send him money for it every year. But that was like his quote. So I think that it's been used over and over again, and it has inspired many other things. And like Ethan was saying, the long chords and stuff like that, you can see a direct correlation to the Joker's theme in The Dark Knight, with those chords. And then the piano, light piano in there, man. I just like I like it. But for me, the star of this movie is really the main two actors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they absolutely killed it. And the lady who played Helen, I can't think of her name, Virginia Madsen.
Virginia Madsen.
Yeah, she, which somebody said earlier, she's the younger sister of Michael Madsen, which I didn't know. That's kind of
Oh, really? I thought that was
like the hotter version of Lori Petty.
Yeah.
That's a good comparison right there.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where she absolutely kills it, and she wasn't even going to play the main character. For a while, she was going to play the girlfriend character or the coworker, and then they changed it. They said, we want a black woman to play that character. So she actually got fired from the movie, and then they rehired her once the lead character actually got pregnant. It was the director's wife or girlfriend got pregnant, and then so they fired her because she couldn't do it, and then Madsen took the part on. And Tony Todd wasn't the original choice either for the Candyman himself. The original choice was Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
What the fuck?
Now they couldn't afford him. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was just gonna join in with you. Yeah, it was supposed to be Eddie Murphy.
We did Vampire in Brooklyn instead.
Oh, yeah, so good. I love Vampire in Brooklyn. I might be the only one who likes that movie, but I freaking.
I think you are.
It's so much fun. Come on, you got to be kidding me. John Carpenter, come on, dude. That movie. It was
Wes Craven.
That is
my bad. Wes Craven. That's what I meant. As I said, John
good.
Carpenter. I was like, it's not Carpenter. We got to watch that movie. Come on,
No, we
Hobbs.
don't. No, we don't.
Oh, no.
It's a bad movie, bro. Get the fuck
Makes
out of
me
here
think
with
of
that.
another
Vampire
great
Brooklyn.
Carpenter movie.
Started a whole nother stream for that one.
Yeah, I mean, oh,
We
but I
love
like it.
John Carpenter here.
You do?
Oh, are we talking, what are we talking
True.
about here? Vampire in
Or
Brooklyn?
like they love.
You know, just John
Yeah.
Carpenter movies. Bobby,
I
not in
don't, I,
particular.
I don't got no problem with John Carpenter. What I do have a
Yeah,
problem
no.
with
No.
is that Duck's notion that Vampire in Brooklyn's a good movie. And what universe is not a good movie? That's like Ethan and They Live. It's not a good movie.
Oh, I think you can tick down another one, Ethan. I think
No,
that counts.
that's when Will shits on it. Hobby's not special enough for that.
Duck, it seems like you really
Look.
kicked the beehive, and now we can get back on target.
Ooh, here we go.
I want to say something real quick.
Sure, yeah.
Hey, put
On the
those
wrap-
pliers down, weirdo. What are you doing?
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
I want to get back to the soundtrack real quick and just about Philip Glass. Have you guys seen Koyaanisqatsi?
No.
Have you seen The Watchmen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, remember the scene where they're basically doing the whole story of how that guy turns into the guy with the
Dr. Manhattan?
Yeah, the music
Yes.
in the background is from Koyaanisqatsi, which was composed by Philip Glass.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Koyaanisqatsi is a movie made in the 70s with time-lapse photography, and it's a Hopi Indian word meaning destruction and life, and it's just showing the life of Earth in fast motion. But Philip Glass did the soundtrack to that. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack, but
No, that was good.
That's
Philip
awesome,
Glass.
man. I didn't know that. That's amazing, dude. Yeah, Philip Glass, this soundtrack. Ethan, you talk a lot about Persona being like your ultimate game music.
Yeah.
I would say for a horror movie, like I would be hard pressed to find one that just has more, like, just it's just so powerful, and
Yeah.
it complements it so well, and it's just. Yeah, from the opening, that opening sequence, that bird's eye
beautiful.
camera,
Yeah.
and you do get introduced. And one of the big criticisms people actually have about Candyman is twofold. On the one hand, some people will tell you that you get introduced to Candyman way too early, and that his voice is narrating the beginning of it.
I see what you're saying.
45 fucking minutes in, dude.
And then there are other people that say it takes him way too long to get into it because he shows up 45 minutes later.
Okay.
I thought they did it perfectly.
It's
I
perfect,
Yeah.
perfectly paced.
I loved it.
I think it could have been 15 minutes shorter. I love the whole storytelling aspect, great, but I really do feel like, I mean, that whole 45 minutes at the beginning before he even shows up kind of fucking drags for me. And I'm sure I'm alone here. I don't care.
No.
But
I
it
was
was
thinking
fucking.
that at
It's
first.
the same story after the same story. We get it. And then, like you said, this is a movie about storytelling, but that's all it was for the first 40 minutes was storytelling about storytelling. And I for me, like, I was just like, okay, I get it. Let's fucking get on with it. Like I said, if it were 85-minute long movie, I think they would have achieved just as much as they did. It would be just as visceral. Everything else, I think it dragged out a little too long. So
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I think probably the reason why Bernard Rose did that, and the thing is about Bernard Rose, I really don't know of a lot of movies he did after this, because I always thought he should have had like a little more storied career, because this is, to me, like such a great movie. I feel like he literally just really wanted to flesh out the characters, because in so many horror movies, with the exception of maybe what Jessup was talking about earlier before we set up was Silence of the Lambs, you really get to know these characters. Whereas I think in a lot of other horror movies, they're very stock. This is the jock. This is the cheerleader. This is, and this one, it's like, no, this is Helen, and she is a student, and she has this. This is her husband. There's something going on there. This is Bernadette. These are the people they're interviewing. And and I think that exposition absolutely lends it to being a little bit long. I do feel like, but once the Candyman, the real Candyman, shows up, and the way he's just standing there. Let's talk about the way he is literally just
Oh my God.
standing there.
He's a presence. He's it's
insane. He's extremely well dressed, extremely
the
well
reveal of the
spoken,
book was fucking great, though.
and that voice,
When
man.
they first showed it, yeah, the voice was fucking great, but the blood dripping off the stump, and he's just
Yeah.
standing there and just good
And
shot.
Absolutely
that's like,
terrifying.
yeah.
And that's the thing, is his presence is so large. And like, I think I agree with you. It could have been shorter, Jake, but I think that telling the story And that's the idea of the urban legend. Because when we were kids, we all heard our own urban legends. When Jay was telling his story earlier about, getting abandoned, I guess, at the zoo, I don't even know what to say, getting lost there. That I was like, oh my God, that's almost like his own urban legend. You know what I mean? And so urban legends play such a big part, especially growing up on the bus or in school, on the playground. And so people stay superstitious, though. That's the thing. Superstition doesn't go away. Like, I literally will not go to that mirror and say Candyman 5 times. I know it's not real, but I am not going to tempt fate, because superstition and anxiety are real things. And so that helps build that. Go ahead, David.
So back to Jay's story. When I was a little kid, my dad used to tell me about truck stops and like rest stops on the highway. And he used to tell me never to go in by myself because there would be cutthroats in there, is what he called them. And they would cut off little boys' dicks. And that was the story my dad would tell me to scare me from straying away and going to places by myself. So when I saw this last night, I was like with Jay, it brought me back to like a moment in my childhood. And that's the thing that was so ballsy about this movie is, if you've ever studied screenwriting, they always tell you never hurt a child and never hurt an animal. And this movie was like, fuck that. We're going to cut the dick off a kid and we're going to chop a dog's head off a dog.
That was one of Hitchcock's main regrets, right? Killing that kid in the fucking movie with the bomb. I forget which movie it was, but he put him on the bus with the bomb, and he was the catalyst for the whole shit. And he was like, you know what? You shouldn't use that because that's just like, it's taboo almost at a point, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree. That's, like I said, that scene is where I went, oh my God, this movie is brutal. Not the dog scene so much, but the little boy scene. And that bothered me endlessly. And then like to show it, do the pan across, which mirrored the pan down from above that they did at the beginning, which was unheard of, what they did, that slow over the highway, looking at that, like that was a new technology back then. But like showing the little boy and showing him crying for his mother, that's when I was just like, I text you guys, I'm like, this movie's fucking hard to watch, like, but it adds to the tension. But like I detest violence against children, so I was just like, yeah, I don't think if I made a movie I could do it, but at the same time it adds to the fear of the movie. And like Jay kind of pointed out, it was probably the gang members that did it, but it keeps alive the lore of it. And that's something I want to talk about is we kind of, Jay already told us what he thought if it was Helen or Candyman was real. Well, real quick, the violence too. I want to talk about that, because we were kind of talking about that. When he gets the hook out and he hooks people from the bottom to the top, I can't remember. He said he'll slip
groin to their
gullet.
It's brutal, and it only happens twice in the movie, really.
The doctor and then the husband,
the friend. Oh yeah,
Trevor.
it happens 3 times. So yeah,
3 times.
But it's just the noise and the sound effect
noise,
and
sound
like,
design of the noise, especially on the doctor, was amazing.
Oh, it was unbelievable, and that's why I was just like. But I did like it was kind of a misdirect, because they showed the video and you're like, is it real or not? Is it not real? So do we think Helen is the Candyman, or do we think the Candyman is real? Jay, you said that you think it's Helen. Is that correct?
No, I disagree. I think there's a lot of gaslighting in this movie. This movie uses gaslighting to such an extent. I think Trevor uses a lot of gaslighting. And so let's talk about another piece of shit in this movie. Really. Let's talk about when she's at that dinner and they're talking about it, and that one snotty ass dude, the guy Trevor's friend,
the most compelling story out of everybody, though.
He didn't know. That's just it. That's what makes him an even bigger piece of shit, because he's the one who tells you what happens.
I call him Dr. Scoff.
Yeah, Dr. Scoff. Benjamin Franklin. I already did this.
I wrote paper on this when I was doing graduate.
I'm like, I hope Candyman gets you, and then the second movie says, I got you, fam. Spoiler.
Spoilers!
But yeah, whatever. That guy, he's that part that I'm talking when we're talking about the patriarchy. These girls are trying to, do this awesome thesis, and they're like, oh well, that's just my leftovers, so yeah, whatever you think you can do. And so that drives Helen to want to try even harder.
Yep.
And so she's like,
the first scene when she basically comes in and finds out that her husband's fucking a student, and then she's like, what the fuck are you talking about urban legends for? I'm doing this as my thesis. And he just totally blows her off. And so you're right, that really motivates her to do things she probably wouldn't do. And I tell you what, for me, the battery drop moment it happened pretty early on, is the shot of her walking through the wall and you see her coming out of Candyman's mouth.
Oh yeah.
That to me is such a cool shot, man. That to me, and I tell you, this movie, I am not a fan of jump scares, but this movie had some quality jump scares in it where I was like,
the hook coming through the mirror.
Yeah, hook coming through the mirror, the dog barking. I mean, there was a bunch of jump scares in this where I was like, you got me, motherfucker.
Yeah,
and it didn't feel cheap either. It didn't feel like a cheap shot. It was
feel like
stuff
a cheap,
that they had built up and made sense.
So the hook coming through the mirror, they did not tell Virginia Madsen that was going to happen.
Oh.
So that reaction is genuine reaction. Yeah,
fucking great.
Yeah, but I think it's earned through the tension that it builds in those quiet moments in between, and the jump scares aren't in your face like you guys said, and I think that makes a huge difference too. How about the baby? Was the baby's name Anthony? Was it?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think so.
I only bring that up because
Jake was the little kid, right?
Yeah, Jake was the little boy.
Yeah.
So I think Anthony was the baby's name. That there's that kind of where they throw you off, where you think that she hits. I mean, when she wakes up, she's covered in the blood. She opens the door, she sees the dog's head, and then I thought she killed the baby. That's what I thought. And so to kind of have that, like the baby has been taken, that was kind of a cool twist. Go ahead, Jake.
Was there something more to whenever she woke up there? It looked like she had been hooked by the Candyman.
Yeah,
I
thought so too.
Transformation and her to becoming the catalyst for it, like it's a otherworldly kind of deal. So that was the first time we see an actual murder from the Candyman, right? Or they cut the dog's head off.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Bernadette went first, right?
Blood everywhere.
No, Bernadette second.
Bernadette went way later.
So, but whenever Virginia Madsen or Helen wakes up in the middle and her stain on her sweater, it looks like it's indicative of her being hooked by the Candyman. So, that she gets up, she looks underneath, and she checks her stomach to see if she's got any wound there. And then she picks up the knife that's next to her, and then it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
She's the one who fucking did this, obviously.
So when I first saw that scene, I thought she had like traveled through time, or he was showing her like the first murder he did, or the one that they were investigating. What was her name? Ruthie? Or
Ruthie Jean.
Oh, she is replaying it through her mind.
Yeah, and then I realized she was in the apartment of the lady that she had been nice to earlier, and it was like I didn't understand. So one of the things I was going to ask Jay is, how does he pick his victims? I don't understand how Candyman picks his victims, or is it all random?
Well, like I said earlier, the movie originally says that you summon Candyman by saying his name 5 times in the mirror. But then later on, he appears to Helen, because she actually does say it 5 times in the mirror with Bernadette right next to her. And it was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then they kind of have a little laugh. But what is alluded to me, and this is where you get into that whole, is it Candyman or is it Helen? This adds to that mythos, is that what she did is she insulted him by demystifying his legend, by finding this, gang, putting this gang leader into jail. Who was, using his name to strike fear into the, the residents of Cabrini Green, and he didn't like that, and so that's when Candyman, if you believe that she's not the killer, he is now ready to just fuck up her life in ways you couldn't even imagine. And so one of those ways is killing the friend, and then killing the dog, and then the baby gets kidnapped, and then it all comes back on her, and then that's there's a immediate switch from the first time she meets the cop, and they put the guy in jail, and and like he's like, good job, Helen, all that, and then once they start thinking she's the killer, his demeanor to her immediate 180, and that's when
Lindsay watched it with me last night, and she had a question. Jay, you might be able to answer her. It seemed like Helen knew where the baby was, or at least she was having visions of where the baby was.
So that's one of the things that's one of the production values they did throughout the movie. If you watch the way Candyman talks to Helen, and like if there's a few times where he's looking at her and all you see is pretty much shade from like the forehead up and the nose down, and there's this little bit of light across her eyes, and it looks as though she's basically hypnotized by him. Because the truth was, she was. They brought a hypnotist on stage, so they brought a hypnotist on, to the set that would train her when you're in these scenes that you would literally like, she couldn't even blink really when she's looking at him. If you go back and see that again, she was literally hypnotized into his voice. And so as the later part goes on, she sees him with the baby, and he puts the hook up to the baby, and that's her way of like knowing, okay, I know where he is. And
so that Lindsay's question was, why didn't she tell the cops? Like, hey, this is where the baby is.
She's being seduced.
They wouldn't believe anything that she would say. They thought she was absolutely crazy.
Okay.
And to me, the great debate over whether or not it's Candyman or her is ultimately decided when he kills the doctor.
Yeah. There's no way that she could do that.
There's no way she could have just blown out the window the way it was blown out. I'll say it that way.
So cool. That was such a cool shot.
That was a great shot. Yeah, I had to go back and watch it a couple times because I didn't know if it showed the rope pulling them back, but it was just the frame from the window.
So cool.
Yeah, the way it fucking went out was fucking amazing.
And at that moment, I think you go, yeah, it's not her, it's him.
Okay.
Right.
So Jay, another question. Was she the reincarnation of the girl he was in love with?
That's what I was just about to ask, because that's the vibes I got.
So this is where the movie kind of goes from being a mystery and then also, an urban legend to where it actually becomes kind of a fairy tale. And in a way, Candyman is trying to recreate the life that he never got to have, because when he fell in love with that that girl, he got her pregnant. And so symbolically, he felt like at the end of the movie, him and baby Anthony and Helen dying together in this great pyre would be a way for them to live together forever. It was his happy ending. That was him. That was literally him trying to create his own happy ending.
Good, Jake.
How is she able to hurt him inside the fire? Like, how can she physically hurt him and his guts catch on fire? It's like, no, come back. Like, I don't understand that. And also, I don't understand if the beginning of the movie is supposed to be canon. I mean, I guess it's just a secondhand account of the story, right? At the beginning with Ted Raimi.
With Ted Raimi, yeah.
Yeah, Ted Raimi is like it's how
he is the one, but he's the one who said Candyman, but he said it 4 times, but the other chick didn't say Candyman.
Yes, she did.
Said it the 5th time. So
she
said it with him?
No, not with him, but she said it Candyman the
That's
last
what
one.
Saying.
Yeah.
But she didn't say it 5 times.
Not with him. She did say it 5 times. Yeah, she said
but
Candyman.
It works because he was looking in the mirror with her while he was saying it.
Yeah, so what happened is, at that beginning scene, Ted Raimi is, he's making out with her, and she goes Candyman, and then all that stuff, and then
nobody ever had the guts to make it past 4 times, and then she's like Candyman, but she didn't fucking say it. So
she said Candyman and flipped off the light, and he was right. That's the first jump scare of the movie.
She didn't say Candyman 5 times. Ted Raimi said it 4 times, and she said it 1 fucking time. So
based off what?
So you're saying, the symbiotic use of. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I think
it's just a secondhand account, right? So that's
okay. Yeah. I think that's where. I get what you're saying now. I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah, I think that's in the beginning of most urban legends, it always starts with I heard it from cousins, friends, teachers, brothers.
From a friend who.
Yeah.
From a friend who.
Okay, now I get what you're saying. Yeah, for sure.
By the way, if you're trying to quit smoking, do not watch this movie.
Yeah, no kidding. Everyone's fucking
Jesus
smoking.
Christ,
everybody smokes. Candyman, everybody smokes. Candyman almost smoked twice, but he's like, I can't.
Can you imagine him
falling off the hook?
just holding up?
And also, if you're trying to be a greasy-looking white dude, don't watch this movie. Because every dude in this movie is just so creepy and greasy looking. Just everybody just slick back and just.
It was the 90s, bro. That's what we did.
Dude.
And Jake, to answer your question about how she could hurt him at the end. Okay, so the end of the movie where it's Helen and Candyman in the pyre itself, that's actually very reminiscent of the first Nightmare on Elm Street. And in that regard, she takes away a lot of his power from her. And there's another big stereotype in this movie that this movie tackles about black people, that they say black people are both superstitious and they mourn en masse. These are 2 issues that the movie definitely confronts.
We saw that at the funeral.
Yeah, at the funeral, but I'll tell you what they were doing.
White Messiah.
Yeah, well, that's just it. They saw her, they were coming to do this bonfire, a symbolic, a burning of the old, and then they saw her in there, and she had taken back kind of her power from Candyman. At the same time, she saved the baby, and so there she does get that quote, that white savior thing. But it also, that's very similar to Freddy Krueger, where she takes the power away from him through the power of flame. So, and
what
then
has the baby been doing in the 2 months since the disappearance of the baby till then?
Well, he was feeding the baby.
Feeding him with his finger.
Yeah, remember he was feeding him blood.
Okay, he's just giving him honey.
Yeah, sweets to the sweet. Literally,
Hey, Austin,
to the sweet.
you brought up a good point about all the guys being like greasy and slick back. I don't think there are any redeeming male characters in this movie.
None.
Right.
I mean, yeah, but did you see the titties on Stacy? Sweet Jesus.
Dude, the 2 stars of this whole movie was Trevor's girlfriend at the very end where she's making that meat salad or whatever the fuck it is she's doing.
She's throwing raw meat into the salad.
Help me make the salad, and then throws a slab of meat out.
Okay, here's something also. She was holding that big-ass kitchen knife, and she was, like, hitting it into her hand, like, come help me make a salad. Are you going to come in here?
She's the new fucking Helen because of that. Because
but no, she's hitting the blade against her hand just casually.
You tell me that you never casually hit your hand with a knife.
But that's because Trevor was in the bathroom saying Candyman 5 fucking times.
No, he's not. He's saying Helen.
He was saying Helen.
So he's saying, but he's saying Candyman though.
Right.
You look like a Helen. You look like a Helen. You look like a Helen.
You look like a Helen. You look like a Helen.
Can we talk about the fact that
Helen.
Can we talk about the fact that Candyman came back to kill everybody after he had been tortured, and Helen's reason for coming back is she just got cheated on?
Yeah,
I mean that's a little.
Fucker!
Hey,
my
Helen.
house, quit painting it.
Yeah, but dude,
chill,
that was
bro.
an awful shade of pink that bitch was painting her.
You know what?
With.
I would have haunted them too.
Yeah.
As long as it's a one and done haunting.
Yeah.
If she does this to everybody, I think it's a little.
I tell you what, this movie has a lot of deep undertones, like the racial undertones, and also the infidelity undertones too. When you see at the end the husband, he's with the hot new girlfriend, but he's having flashbacks of Helen and how good she was to him. And I thought that was really, really good, man. That was really cool. And the way he starts like just kind of sadly saying her name, and I love that so much.
And I think
That's
in a lot of ways,
reveal. Him in the bathtub was a great fucking reveal.
That was an amazing reveal. I think Trevor also copied Helen's crime and that he tried to demystify her, and he stopped believing in her. And then when he was saying her name and all those things, because at the end when the baby saved, it didn't really like vindicate her. The people thought she was still crazy. But they're like, well, she died, but like now is the case closed or whatnot? And so, yeah, him getting his comeuppance was pretty sweet, revenge for her. And there were talks possibly of continuing the story with her, but I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad that in a lot of ways this could be a standalone movie without the need for a lot of sequels.
Ethan, what are you laughing about over there?
We got someone in the chat that came in, and this has just been killing me. Sweet Jesus, it's like the evolution of the beards.
They must have had the perfect lineup of it. So
I was like, I know they're not talking to me.
My end, I'm like, out in this corner.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
So I take it this guy must be looking at Ethan, me, David, and then
Austin.
and then Austin.
Well, I mean,
Ethan,
he sees it off of my screen.
Bobby, and then me.
All right, so Ethan, me, Doug, Austin.
From my angle, it'd be Ethan, Javi, Doug, Austin.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
It's so what you guys were saying is about the sequel, the movie that's coming out, the movie that's being produced by Jordan Peele, which it's disregarding 2 and 3, and it's a direct sequel to the first one. It actually has to do with the baby Anthony being grown up and going back. And if you watch the trailer, it looks fucking amazing. It looks so good.
And there was original talks of them not bringing Tony Todd back, but he is back.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, Tony Todd is
$23,000 man.
Yes. Explain that. Explain that, Jake.
He called Jay and he said, and Jay.
He worked out a deal in his contract where he got $1,000 for every bee sting he got. He got stung 23 fucking times. Just cash in pocket right there. But the thing about it is they specially bred bees for this fucking movie.
Yeah, they have their own apiary. Yeah.
And it had to be 12 hours old, so they looked like they were full-grown adult bees. But the stingers didn't inflict as much pain. But the guy fucking made 23 G's just for putting them in his fucking mouth and all over his face.
Oh, I couldn't do it.
On top of that,
fucking Fear Factor.
Virginia Madsen had a massive. She's allergic to bees.
Really?
No, she didn't. No, she didn't, because what they did is they sprayed her with a certain pheromone called the queen pheromone, so that the bees would all be attracted to her, but they would feel zero malice towards her. So that's how they got away with putting it on her without it actually stinging him. And here's my thought: why couldn't they have given Tony the same pheromone? Let's talk about that for a second. Well, we only have enough for her.
It's 24,000 instead of 23.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you mad, son?
Maybe they gave him an offer. We can give you the pheromone, no extra money, or sting. And then he's like, well, let's see.
If I get the pheromone, I don't get $23,000.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking be. Hey, I'm Tony Todd. Welcome to Jackass.
Yeah.
And I'll buy my own pheromone.
Yeah,
it's just so epic though.
Yeah, he was sneaking pheromone, and he had like Tom Savini on set, like putting on. He's like, I got a mortgage, man. I need 4 more right here.
I mean, but
Don't hate the player.
The practical effects in this movie also make it too. It really grounds it. Like everything is done there on screen. It's real, and with the bees, it had to be that way. And that's so iconic, seeing the bees come out of his mouth and just kind of seeing how he's just like kind of tranced out while it's happening.
Nicolas Cage, that's how you work with bees.
My first thought was like, this is 2 years before Jurassic Park. There's a chance this could be digital, but I was like, I don't think that shit's digital, dude.
It was only a year. It came out it was like Jurassic Park came out in '93. I think the bees in the beginning could have been some sort of green screen, because you see the bees overtake the entire skyline of Chicago. But I think that it's probably the one.
Some VFX when like the bees were taking up the screen. They definitely had fake bees that were just images. They were zipping across the screen. But like when they're coming out of the mouth, that's 100% real. I don't think
absolutely.
Yeah.
I even saw Jerry Seinfeld crawl out of there.
What's the deal?
You like jazz?
All right, guys. Is there anything else about this movie you want to add or talk about?
Yeah, just one more thing. Virginia Madsen's beautiful, and I'm glad I got to see half of her boobs. But was there a issue as to why she wouldn't show all of them?
Okay.
Because they were fantastic.
I was thinking the same thing. So she kind of shows him in the bathtub.
Yep.
But before where she gets arrested, you see side boob.
Yeah.
Everybody loves side boob.
Yeah.
Lift your left breast.
A little more side boob, but in the bathtub,
amazing.
Half nipple.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
it was a money thing, like showing half a nipple got let. I don't know, but I just would like a deleted scenes.
$23,000.
Yeah.
Pay you $1,000.
They didn't give her any
$1,000 a nipple
for the boob bee. That's what she got. So for every boob bee, for every booby tease.
This movie got the feel of the projects really right.
Yes, it did.
Deep again?
Well, Javi, I don't think you were here when they said they actually filmed in the real projects. Yeah. And they actually had to get escorted by police. They got shot at. They actually had real gang members.
And then John Carpenter came in with a bulldozer and raked the whole fucking town.
They live style. That's what happened. But yeah, that's what we were saying about like the terror and the suspense and how like that area, it just feels so real because it was. And then my only other thing was when she goes through the mirror into the Candyland's lair, why is there razors in the candy? Just because that's more of the urban legend of the razors being in the candy? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I think that was something to do with they thought, they were giving them to children. It was another thing to kind of, add to the mystique of the Candyman legend. Just another thing, sweet's the sweet, but he's, harming kids through candy. So it's just another way to make them scary.
All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about with the movie?
I have something. I wanna thank you, Duck, and I guess mainly Jay for for me, 2 straight weeks of high quality production movies. This has been great. No, none of that horse shit we watched a couple months ago or whatever. This
Oh.
You got something to say there, Austin?
Nothing. No.
Killing is what he's
No,
getting
not
at.
Austin.
Okay.
Specifically.
Sorry, it's hard to tell where the line stops at Thanksgiving and They Live because of you lot. So.
Hey, I didn't say shit about
Don't blame
They
us
Live.
because you have horrible taste in movies, either.
Okay, you don't have to use your deep voice, little voice changer over there, Hobby, to act all
Listen to
tough
your
for
Sonny.
me. So
Will's over
So,
here saying, "Wait till my pick."
What's
Oh,
next
God.
week?
Terra
Next
Firma,
week is
right?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. That's what
Oh
we're
yeah,
doing.
with Larry, right?
Yeah, he might be in, he might not be. So we'll see what happens.
Wait, Chainsaw Massacre 1 or 2?
Two.
2?
Dose.
Ethan, what
He
were you
wasn't
going to
here
say?
with us whenever we did 1. That was our first one, right?
Yeah.
No, Friday 13th.
That was my first one.
Do I need to watch 1 to watch 2?
No.
No, not
at all.
all.
Not at
one
all.
bit. You
It
could.
might be better if you don't watch 1. Actually,
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I demand you don't watch 1 first.
I'll be
Well,
honest.
it's
Yeah,
one
you don't
after
need. To,
two.
you don't need.
Now
to
I'm
see
watching
one.
one.
One's amazing, but
you
really
better
don't.
watch 1 first, Austin.
I'm not doing it.
Bill was great the first
All right, Ethan, what did you want to say?
Okay. So going back to a point David and Jay made earlier, yes, I like them had a flashback to one of those urban legends that I heard when I was a kid while watching this movie. Any of y'all ever watched the Andy Griffith Show? There's an episode where he tells a story to his kid about the man with the golden arm. Well, my dad and some of our neighbors, while we were living in Highland Village at the time, every Halloween they would tell us that story, and whichever one of the gentlemen of the neighborhood that weren't there telling the story, sometimes they would go out by the railroad tracks and make sounds and shout at us. One time, I think my dad was on the roof of our house going, "They took my golden arm," and
Holy
shit like
shit.
that.
Well,
It would
what's
freak
the
fuck
story,
out of
Ethan?
us.
Ethan, what's the story? Tell me. I've never
I
heard
can't
it.
remember it for the life of me.
They did a
It's the
movie
same
on
story
Quibi
of-
about it. They made a 3-part movie on Quibi about it.
Yeah.
It's like a modern version of it.
The
I
It's
know
basically a
Golden
story
Justice.
about greed. So basically,
Yeah.
the Quibi version was like there was a woman and she loses her arm in an accident, and the husband sculpts her a golden arm, and it slowly starts to poison her, and it's killing her, but she doesn't want it. She doesn't want it off of her because she loves it so much, and eventually it does kill her, and then the husband goes and digs it up, and then she starts to haunt him because he took it off her dead corpse. So it's just kind of like
Sounds badass.
It's a great
awesome.
story.
It's a story about
great
greed.
story.
Well, Texas alone is full of urban legends, but actual real murders and stuff like that. Texarkana was known for
The town that dreaded sundown.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Yeah.
also the people who were poisoning the kids' candy, that was in southern Texas, I believe. So
Hey, what about Goatman Bridge and Denton?
Yeah, I've never
What?
been. I totally want to go. I've been wanting to go for years. I never have.
What is
What?
Goatman Bridge, real
Goatman
quick?
forever.
What is it?
It's just I don't know. Whatever. Some
You know,
bullshit made up fucking cryptid that the fucking. I've heard of Goatman in every fucking state, town. Somebody has a Goatman story, but in Denton, there's Goatman Bridge.
White
And-
Rock Lake has the woman in white.
Yeah, yeah. In Glen Rose, they have the fucking train track one where your car will die on the train tracks. And you see the children.
Oh,
hands
yeah.
pushing your shit over.
That's the greatest, dude. Like
Hey.
I love stuff like that because
If any of y'all want to go on a road trip, I'm
They-
totally
they-
down.
Let's do
There's
it.
2 dudes from BuzzFeed that went there. They did an across the country tour. They went to the Goatman Bridge also. I don't know what.
Like,
the
there's
fuck
this
it's
road
called,
in New
but-
Jersey. It's called Shade to Death Road. It's a very short. It's like about a mile and a half long. And they say that if you drive on a full moon at night along that road at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, you could actually see the ghosts of dead mobsters dumping their bodies of the people they executed. And that
That's
was actually a
cool.
big dumping ground for the mob back in the day. Was off that road in Jersey.
Javi,
That's
can you say
cool.
something for me?
I know what you mean.
Can you say you're
would you
crazy?
fuck me?
I like you, but you're crazy.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like.
I like you. You're crazy. Crazy.
You guys shot the neck with the fucking door, man.
What? Am I gonna die?
Jesus.
Hey, Javi,
Cold.
Javi, if I say no more rhyming and I mean it, can you say, does anyone want a peanut?
Yeah.
Okay. No more rhyming, and I mean it.
Does anyone want a peanut?
He's
Princess
adding it.
Bride, motherfuckers.
All right, guys, let's wind this conversation down. Jay, is there anything else that you want to talk about, real quick?
Not really. I mean, I think I hit all the high notes for it. I mean, like I said, this movie upset a lot of people, and justifiably for a lot of ways. It talks about a lot of social issues. The fact that they made Cabrini Green just out to be like this cesspool. In reality, Cabrini Green, at one point was a really thriving area. It's a matter of fact, it was the setting for Good Times. A lot of people don't know that the apartments in Good Times was basically modeled after Cabrini Green, and one of the big reasons why it went down is just because of you saw in the movie, you saw Helen, she's in her apartments and she's looking across the street and basically, and she feels so privileged and she feels so safe in her really expensive apartment, and it's really that close, and just neglect and whatnot. As a matter of fact, Cabrini Green now, I believe, is nothing more than just it's all been plowed over, it's all been destroyed.
Goddamn John Carpenter.
Yeah, I think it's like basically a park, like it's a field now, and I hope they explore more of that in this new movie that's coming out. The trailer looks amazing.
Oh, it looks so good.
I think it's gonna. I mean, with Jordan Peele, producing it, I don't see how it could possibly lose, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I'm totally down. All right, gotta ask real quick, everyone down the line, recommendations. Do you recommend it or not? And is Helen the Candyman? I want to know. Jay, first, do you recommend?
Absolutely.
Is Helen the Candyman?
Nope.
All right, Austin, how about you? Do you recommend this movie?
Yes, I definitely recommend this movie, and I think that he is the Candyman and she is the original girlfriend, and I think that she didn't know it, but they were working together, or that he was working through her, but I think they're both the original people from the beginning of the urban legend. That's what I believe.
Right on. Javi B, what you think? Candyman or no?
I would recommend this movie, so thanks for asking.
I was going to ask that next.
I want to say that she eventually became the Candyman. I think the Candyman was real, but he passed, I guess, his burden onto her, therefore making her the new Candyman.
She's the new Candyman. Jake, how about you? Do you recommend it? Is she the Candyman?
I recommend it, and I think that Candyman, Helen, and the baby Jacob are like the Holy Trinity. The Father, the Son, and the fucking Holy Ghost.
Stay tuned.
They're all like one and the fucking same, man. Like at that point, whenever she accepted her fate, she became part of whatever his higher power, what his being is, and everything else. And the baby being literally baptized in the fucking fire from all this shit.
Holy shit.
Good.
Hot take, literally.
Like
Dude.
Jesus.
Holy shit. David, do you think what do you think of the movie
good,
you
Jay. I'm
recommend?
sorry.
Yeah, that was
I
awesome,
didn't
dude.
get
I'm
that.
sorry, I was kind of
Hot take,
speechless.
literally. That was fucking good. Thank you.
Loved it, recommend it, and I agree with Jacob, and I agree with Austin. What they said.
They said totally different things. Are you not?
And I'll even add this.
No, put them together. Put them together.
Candyman should be a character on Dead by Daylight.
Yes!
Yes!
How is that not happening
I
yet?
thought about that last night. I was
Yeah,
like, this would be
Candyman.
his fucking voice. You get Javi to do the voice of Candyman.
Just with that microphone.
Yep.
You get hooked 6 times in one fucking game, bro.
Is anyone
That
else
would be
being
amazing.
hypnotized by Hobby trimming or shaving or like combing his beard
He's just
right now?
scratching his beard, I guess.
That's right, it's a beard scratcher.
That's freaking awesome. Ethan, do you recommend, and is Helen the Candyman?
2 thumbs up for me. Watch it. This is fantastic. And yes, she became the Candyman afterwards, but she was not the Candyman to begin with. She was possessed by him. I'm with Hobbs.
And I will say, big recommendation. Boy, did that hold up for a movie that's almost 30 years old.
Right? It really
just
does, man.
really holds up. So good. It's definitely terrifying, scary. Just Candyman needs to be on Dead by Daylight. 100% agree with that. I was thinking that the whole time. And yeah, I think that in some way he possessed her. She did the murders, and she became him afterwards. But obviously, even if he possessed, it was still him that did the killing. So I'm sure the sequels. I think the new movie is going to go into that even further, and I cannot wait to see it and talk about it with you guys. It'll be freaking awesome.
Hey everyone, it's just Stuck jumping in here to say thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. If you're enjoying it, head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or iTunes, and give We Are Podcast Network a like. And don't forget to join our social media. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /WeArePodcast. And don't forget to join our Discord. All links can be found in the description. The next segment of the podcast will be clips from the movie. So if you would like to see that, head over to our Twitch at twitch.tv /WeArePodcast for the full video stream. And with that, back to the Horrorcast.
But with that said, let's go on to the clips. So
Movie clips.
let me know if you can see them. Oh crap, that's not working. Hold on. All right. Ethan, you can see it?
Yes.
Okay. The Bees!
Doug, before you hit play, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How the fuck is it you got 14 minutes out of Thanksgiving, but for Candyman you got 6?
It's a legitimate question.
As I keep going, I try to make them shorter and shorter. That's why.
So you're gonna
Because there's too many tits in this fucking movie. We're gonna get canceled.
They will say that I have shed innocent blood.
Great narration.
What's blood for, if not for shedding?
Top notch.
Look for a hand. I'll split you from your groin to your gullet.
Boom. So, do bees scare anyone? They don't really scare me. I don't want to get stung, but like I'm not super terrified. How about you guys?
We cannot live without bees. Nobody.
Did you learn nothing from
I
Bee
hate
movie,
this
bro?
fucking shit.
Or My Girl.
Unless you're Macaulay Culkin,
Yeah.
don't fuck with bees. Like
So
just
look
leave
at
him
his
alone.
glasses. You can't see without his glasses.
By the way, the guy who was the handler for the bees for this movie, the guy who was the bee handler for this movie was also the bee handler for My Girl. So that's funny. Ted,
Yeah, his name was Norman Gary. Norman Gary was the apiary.
He's really killing it.
Norman Gary, the apiary.
Oh, it sells itself. Hi, I'm Norman Gary, apiary.
Yeah.
Very scary.
I guarantee you that's how he introduces himself whenever he's
Oh,
on a
fuck
party.
yeah.
How you doing, Norman Gary, the apiary? Norman Gary, the apiary.
Ted Raimi.
Tonight's the night that she's gonna give Billy what she never gave to me.
Can't take it.
What is
seriously.
that face he's fucking making?
It's Ted
Dude,
Raimi,
that's
bro.
Ted
Same
Raimi. What are you fucking talking about?
I don't know who Ted Raimi was. I didn't know until
It's
Duck
Sam
told me.
Raimi's brother. Fuck you. You're the one who got these Spider-Man movies.
I know that. I didn't know that until Duck told me earlier, motherfucker.
Did you watch Xena or Hercules growing up at all?
No.
God
he had
damn it,
taste.
dude.
He was Joxer.
He was Joxer, man. And
Who
Xena.
watched
that's-
those shows?
Millions of people.
Yeah, people
They're all
love-
stupid.
No,
That's
Xena
the
was
point
the best, bro. What?
Roll the clip.
Fuck Lucy Lawless and
his
Kevin
character-
Sorbo.
His character reminded me of Fonzie because he was wearing a leather jacket. He was 30 years old and he was hanging out with high school girls.
Hey.
Damn right.
What's up, babe? I'm about to get laid. Okay. Okay.
5 times.
But she said his name the last time. Candyman. She turned out the lights.
Just terrible construction.
And that was one of the things right then where they talked about how his hair turned white, and then Jake, the little kid, said that the man who walked in on the little boy, he said that man had also had his hair turned white. So it's one of the few times that the urban legend had a continuous theme. They didn't explore that anymore at all throughout the movie, but I thought there could have been, I don't know, maybe a little something they could have used that.
Well, yeah,
later on.
they never had the payoff of somebody actually having hair white.
Yeah, because
Trevor should have had fucking white hair at the end.
He just didn't have any hair to begin with, really.
Well,
So it was like
yeah,
tough.
you're right.
They
Stacy
should have
should have
had Trevor's new girlfriend have her hair white, but
Yes.
then she gets naked and you see that her vagina hair is also white. They should have put that scene in there. And
Very
maybe-
artistic.
The gray bush.
Puppers. It scared Ethan earlier.
Oh
Me
yeah,
now.
that scared the shit out of me, man.
Going through people's apartments and things.
Mouth. This is awesome. I just
I
love.
love this shot. That's so cool.
Yeah.
By the way, let's give it up for those shoulder pads.
Oh yeah.
1992 coming through like.
Yeah, look inconspicuous while going to the projects.
Dude, that graffiti art is just so amazing.
Now
Did
I know
they-
it was probably
did
to set up.
that-
this
was that
shot.
one of the gang members? That did that? Was that a
Well, no, it
Roger
would have been
I
the
do not know.
Candyman.
I
It
do
had
not
to have been the Candyman. He was an artist, remember?
Ah, good. Yeah.
He made
Oh, yeah.
shoes.
I meant like behind the scenes though.
Why did she have to climb
Behind
through
the
the
scenes.
mirror to get in that apartment if she snuck into that apartment?
Yeah, she knows that every mirror is just a gateway to another apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question for you guys. Like, at my first 3 apartments I lived at that where I was connected to somebody else, I would check that just
funny.
if it was true or not.
That's funny.
That's probably wise.
Yeah. Bury you.
That's precisely the moment at which I can be of greatest assistance.
Punch him in
Oh,
the
the
fucking
douchebag.
face.
Oh, it's the Quaker Oats guy.
If I could turn
He
into
does
goddamn
live Quaker Oats.
it's Top Gear. Like,
This guy's got a really cunty face. Like, I don't know what it is about this face, but it just like calls for it to be called a cunt.
Before you disappear down a path to academic Bolivia.
Oh, fuck off.
Actually, Purcell, we're about to bury you.
Boom.
Let it be known.
Wait, great clip, Doug.
Hey, I just wanted to show off the cunty face guy.
Yeah.
You scared of him?
This kid was a great actor.
Oh yeah.
Scared of nobody. But you're crazy walking here on your own. It ain't safe around here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the kid who played Jake.
how
was
about her
awesome.
fucking calling him out for being a chicken shit though? She's like, "What are you scared?" It's like, "Fuck yeah, I'm scared. I'm fucking 10." Like, what do you-
Yeah, you get to, you go back to your wonderful life, and
Yeah.
I'm still here, afraid of someone who might
There
just murder
really
me.
is a fucking drug dealer here calling himself the Candyman. He beat
Yeah.
the shit out of you. Do you remember? Like, oh,
But-
no,
but-
you're about to find out.
But thanks for lecturing me on how I should feel in my environment. That's very nice of you.
More bees.
Is that blood or shit?
That's
Oh,
definitely
so gross.
shit.
And she's killing the bees. She's killing the bees.
So the bees, were not.
Just
No
weren't
bees
touching
were harmed in the
her. We're all
making of
gonna
this
die.
film. So they use that little bee thing to vacuum them up after every scene and everything like that. Like they said, they took great care to keep the bees safe. So
PETA don't fuck around, dude.
Yeah.
They do not
PETA
fuck
in
around.
1992 was like non-existent.
Well, it's a good thing they had the official PETA certified bee vacuum on set.
I'm not joking. They probably did.
the Candyman, the Candyman.
How many
can-
fucking bees did Tony Todd swallow? He didn't say that shit.
He had a dental dam in, so that's how he kept it out of it. Like, oh my god, dude, I will get there. He's just awesome. Ah,
Bloody hook
Such an
stump.
be
overwhelming
my victim.
presence.
Be my
his,
victim.
and his the outfit, like the costume design, is so cool. That coat is so badass.
The drip
Oh,
is real.
and the shoes. Don't forget the shoes.
Yep.
Fucking shoes, man. Yep.
The drip is real.
Not only that, let's just be. He's a lot nicer dressed than the fake Candyman. Like he's like, all
He
right,
definitely was.
here's the deal. I'm being dressed to the nines. I'm just letting y'all know that.
Oh, the nails that are keeping it there. Oh, it's so
Oh.
brutal.
Yeah.
So
Just
Tony
because I'm a
Todd,
bad guy.
Rudely fashioned into his bloody stump.
Here's the one thing though, and I guess it makes sense why he has it, but the first time I saw this hook, I was like, that is not that practical. You got to really reach around
Get in there.
someone. Yeah. But I mean, that's what he did, so it makes sense.
This is very
Yeah.
practical.
Yes.
This will do the trick.
For what? Hunting lost
Practical
boys?
whenever you're killing somebody. He's not trying to open up his car door with this thing.
Who
Like,
said?
what are you
Who
talking
said?
about? Like,
Who said hunting? Who said hunting Lost Boys?
I did right here.
That was good. You win today. Whatever there is to win, you win.
Thanks, buddy.
no more puppy. This made me sad.
Oh, dude, that was so brutal. Jesus.
Ah, Poor
And the
puppy.
practical effects, the gore in
That
this
is
is
such
so
a good effect.
Yeah, the gore is quality gore, man.
brutal.
Oof.
Fucking
well,
brutal.
it could be a little thicker, but yeah.
I thought this was odd product placement.
That's what she said. Oh,
Have yourself a
Budweiser?
Budweiser.
oh yeah.
If you killed somebody today.
Budweiser.
Do you guys
Cool
remember these?
Budweiser.
You remember these cigarette purses though that she has right there? Do you
Yeah.
guys remember
Yeah, my
these? Like
grandmother
My
everyone.
and
mom
mom
had. Yeah, mom had it.
Yeah.
I was
They
gonna
still
say.
have them. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Look at the creepy doll in the background.
Ooh.
Was there? a
I'll
creepy
make
dog?
art. Mm-hmm. There was another creepy doll in this movie too.
right
Oh
there.
yeah.
Boom.
I'm pointing like
Red
you're able
Eagle.
to see where I'm pointing.
I know. Me too. I did the same thing.
He's real. I really like this whenever he showed up in the picture and she had to
beautiful.
refocus it. I thought that was
Gosh,
really cool.
she's so fucking gorgeous, man. She's classically gorgeous.
Oh my god.
Brutal.
All right.
That's brutal.
It's brutal. I don't think I showed it because it bothered me. That's the thing, is the violence is visceral in this movie. It's not like Dead Alive where it's fun. Like, you feel the violence in this in a different way, and I don't know what it is. Like, because like I said, I could have put the dead body in there, but I didn't even clip the dead body. I don't.
Whatever they revealed Bernadette's body.
Yeah.
She got the pale face and everything, and
Yeah.
the blood all over. It almost looked like a dead version of the Joker.
Yeah,
I mean, it was great
brutal.
looking. Yeah.
All
She
the
had,
light,
like,
all the
cards.
blood. Yeah, all the blood had got out of her body.
We talked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the minimalist of it all. This movie doesn't necessarily show you the attack, but it totally shows you the aftermath.
Yeah.
Like, it is an aftermath. It's just extravaganza.
Faces of death.
Yeah.
The sound here, the sound quality is.
Look at that glare too. She's getting hypnotized.
Oh, that's so great. Oh, that sound, man. Hey,
Oh,
was
that ripping in the tearing.
I forget, was this movie a success?
It got a sequel. It was a modest success. They didn't have enough money to get another theatrical sequel. And then the third one was very straight to video. It was Donna D'Errico she was on the Baywatch B team, so God knows, like, she had to be on that one. So yeah.
Did I write float wrong?
Oh God.
This was a cool scene.
Yeah, this is
what stuck with me.
Oh, oh my God.
Do the good know, accept what the bad teach them by their excesses. Allow me at least to kiss. Just one exquisite kiss.
He floats underneath it.
The way he moved his hand in front of her, it was just so beautiful.
So there's a funny story about that scene. As you can tell, he's obviously hovering over. And I also told you guys how the ending of this movie is kind of similar to the beginning at the end of Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, 2 years after this movie came out, Wes Craven came out with New Nightmare, and there's a scene where the son of Heather Langenkamp, Miko Hughes, is in a like hospital bed, and there's a scene where you see Freddy Krueger in a very similar kind of scene as that one you just saw, and a lot of people think it was like okay, well, if you're going to take a little bit of mine, I'm going to take a little bit of yours.
Oh, okay,
little Wes Craven,
tat.
Yeah, a little tit for tat. Nothing, just a fun little,
Wasn't that Wishmaster?
Wishmaster came out in '97, but I don't know if it had that. I mean,
No, but I thought the one with Mika was Wishmaster.
No, Miko Hughes was not in. I don't remember. He was in Spawn. I don't remember him in Wishmaster. But anyway,
Kindergarten Cop, Mercury Rising.
oh, Pet Cemetery. He was in Pet Cemetery. That was the big one.
Gage.
But, yeah. But anyway, go on.
Candyman again. Question: if she did it not in the mirror, but if she did it in the reflection of the paper thing, would it work too? Just saying. All right, that was my
What?
That was my Tony.
What? Wait, what?
Movie's ruined.
No,
Thanks,
no.
Doug.
Ask it again. I'm sorry.
Hey, can you do it in any reflection? Is what I'm saying, or does it have to be a mirror?
In the second movie, Purcell. Okay, spoiler alert. Purcell. He gets him to. Someone gets him to recite it into the book cover that he has. It has a reflective cover on it. He says it 5 times there, and that's how he gets got. So
right
at least the
on.
second movie, yes.
Damn spoilers! Sorry.
Here we go. Oh! Brutal! Oh, what a way to go.
With the Mandela effect, a lot of people think that a lot of people claim they remember what his back looked like after that happened. But it's one of those things where no, you never saw it, but you think you did, and you definitely heard it.
The sound.
Sound was huge.
Yeah.
It's a shame he didn't go for the Candyman kill, groin to gullet. He went from crack to cortex.
Been sitting on that one, huh, Ethan?
That was worth it. That was worth
Yeah,
it.
boy, hey, good day.
Had that one in the chamber for a
Boom.
minute.
You got it.
E-Kiss.
This scene freaked out Lindsay.
This is cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty.
Love it.
Wow.
He doesn't even look nervous at all. There's no shred of
Because he's taking it to the
uncomfortable.
bank.
Exactly. Every bee in my mouth, another thousand.
Oh, the crunching sound. Oh, Jesus.
Still think they had enough pheromone to go around for Tony. That's just me.
Yeah.
I guarantee his mouth is filled with royal jelly right there.
So those bees were what, like 12 hours old, I think Jake said earlier, so that they wouldn't sting, but he still got stung. But yeah, that's such a cool shot and it's so iconic, and
It
it needs
is
to be
funny
in Dead
that-
by Deadlight.
It is funny how close they were to Jurassic Park and like having CGI just do that entire scene.
Right, but at the same time,
But I'm glad they didn't. I'm
It
glad.
looked
I'm glad
good.
it's real. It
Oh, yeah.
makes it so much more visceral and so much more impactful, knowing as you're watching it that those are real bees.
Right, it's so awesome. The fire.
Gotcha, bitch.
Here we go. Bam!
Right in the bees.
Right in the bees.
Did you say right in the bees?
Yeah.
Right in the honey pot.
You look like a Helen.
You look like a Helen.
All right, and this is the end. I think he looks ridiculous sitting in the tub. I think I got him in the tub. It just. Hi, kitty.
Helen.
That's so cool.
What's
It's very Hellraiser.
scared of something.
Trevor? Trevor?
Don't you want your steak sandwich? I'm not wearing a bra.
She's still holding the knife.
No bra. No bra.
Yeah.
Are we getting a flag for this?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, she's got clothes on.
Word of
yeah.
advice, if you ever walk into a murder scene, don't hold a butcher's knife.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Well, that kept
Or-
happening over and over again. Too.
Always wear a bra if you walk into it.
Always wear a bra
Butcher.
and don't bring your butcher knife. It's the two B's. And don't hang out with bees.
Yeah.
The three B's.
The three B's.
Bras,
Bees.
butcher knives, bees.
Bees.
Don't do anything. Wait, do one of them.
Well, guys, Will couldn't be here with us, so he did do a Will recommends for us real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and load that up and play that. Let me know if you can hear him.
Hey guys, what's up?
Is that too loud?
Hey,
Will!
No, you're good.
What's up? Sorry, I wasn't able
Hey,
to
Will, how are you?
go tonight. I do love Candyman. It's crazy. It's bloody. It's gory. It's one of the best classic movies. Just one of my favorites.
Waiting for it.
But of course, we can't go a whole week without Will recommends. So I've got two recommendations this week. I don't really have anything to do with Candyman, just movies that I've been watching or a show that I've been watching that I think you guys will enjoy. One of them is called Circus of the Dead, which is on Amazon Prime. I believe it is free. I think it is. It's really good. Clowns, man. Clown murderers. Way better than Clownado.
God.
Just a group of clowns that come to town and decide to tear up the whole place. You can see the video up there. It's insane. Oh my God. Oh my
God,
God.
there's bees.
Oh, there's bees
Look out,
everywhere
Will.
now. Great. Number two is a little different. I'm not sure that everyone here is going to like it, but it's called, it's a TV show. It's on Netflix and it's also on Shudder. Shudder has like a special with them. The wife has been watching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race, which means I have been watching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race. And then I found this show called the Boulet Brothers Dragula, It's basically a bunch of horror drag queens. They have crazy makeup effects. They have different themes every day or every week. And then they do like murders in the show. They put on crazy shows with this ridiculous makeup. It's one of the most fun things to watch. There's a lot in the beginning. There's a lot of like, you know, them being catty and
Will, I have a question. Will.
The makeup design and just the costumes are insane. Y'all should check it out. And that is on Netflix and Shudder. The Boulet Brothers Dracula and Circus of the Dead. Will recommends. Oh God, the bees! The bees!
Not the bees.
Green screen sucks.
Hold on.
That's it. Will recommended it. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for doing the cast this week. And Jay, thank you for the recommendation of Candyman. I never saw it, and it was a lot of fun. David, where can they find you on the internet?
Stop Motion Nightmares on Facebook, Children of Dave on Instagram.
Right on. Definitely go join his Instagram. Where can they buy your stuff at?
Curiosities, Lakewood, and Curious Garden, Mockingbird. White Rock Lake.
Right on. And you can check out us on our podcast channel at wearepodcast.podbean.com. We have We Are Air, where we talk movies, entertainment, whatever the fuck we want to talk about. That's me. That's Jake. That's Hobby. We break down pop culture. We also have We Are Bagu, a video game podcast. We talk Atari to Steam and everything in between. That's me and Reverend Dr. Ethan Eastwood, Esquire III. We also have Heroes Gyros, a Dungeons and Distractions side quest where we play D&D. We have I Hate Being Sober, where it's personal stories from epic people. Join our Discord. Can somebody write Discord in the chat?
Discord's in the chat right now. You can click the link, come hang out with us, chat about whatever the fuck video
or
game.
don't. You know, that's up to you.
We're not your mom.
And
as
finally,
much as I want to be.
And finally, you can find us every week here at Camp/Horrorcast, live on Twitch at 8 p.m. Central Time, where we talk more horror movies from the past. Keep horror in your heart. That's what we have to say. That is our tagline. Keep it in your heart. With that said, guys, thank you so much again for talking Candyman. Much appreciated. Next week, we will be checking out Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. After that will be Will's birthday pick with Terra Firma. And then we are going to start our anthology month. So we can't wait to do so. Guys, with that said, thank you again. And Ethan, please cut the feed.
Go ahead. Jessup, you had something?
Yeah, looking it up, Candyman is in the works to be a character on Dead by Daylight.
Ah, yes! We love DVD. We love it. Play the DVD. That's all I'm going to say. We have so much fun playing that game. All right, Ethan, please cut the feed.
And there it is. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. If you enjoyed it, please head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or iTunes, and give We Are Podcast a like. And if you enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love the other podcasts here on the We Are Podcast Network. We have We Are Air, where we talk movies, entertainment, whatever the fuck we want to talk about. That's me, that's Jake, that's Hobby. We're breaking down pop culture, and we're having a blast. And don't forget, We Are Bagu, a video game podcast where we talk Atari to Steam and everything in between. That's me and Dr. Ethan Eastwood. We're breaking down all that video game lore. Heroes, Gyros, a Dungeons and Distractions side quest. Me and the boys were playing some D&D and we're having so much fun. I Hate Being Sober. Personal stories from epic people where I sit down with some of my favorite people on this planet. We talk about their trials, their tribulations, and we just talk about whatever we want to talk about. And finally, Camp/Horrorcast. That's our weekly video cast. Join us every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time on Twitch as we break down our favorite horror movies from the past. Check out our social media. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /WeArePodcast. And don't forget to join our Discord. All links can be found in the description. With that said, thank you again for checking out the podcast today. We truly hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and please share with your friends. That's the only way we can grow this channel. With that said, we'll see you on the next one.